rolling.
Hi.
Oh, let's start again.
All right.
All right.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
It's one of these things again.
What?
These shows that we
Yes.
do. It's one of these. They don't seem to happen. They don't happen very often, but they happen.
Sure they do, yeah. We think about them a lot.
Yeah. It's like herpes. It just kind of pops up once in a while. Cold sore.
Yeah.
And it reminds you that we're around still.
Yeah.
So, welcome to episode 14.
14.
Yeah, 14. And I just want to say, too, before we start, subscribe, like, and...
Hit that bell if you want to know when we're posting new episodes, which we do on occasion.
On occasion, yeah. This is one of those episodes, too, that, we actually had to have a conversation about how far down the rabbit hole you go.
Oh my god, yes.
Because you end up just gurgitating the internet and all the information that you can find, so...
As it stands right now, for the very first album, I have like 4 pages of notes, which is very unusual.
Yeah.
Generally, it's just 1 or 2 pages, but I just kept finding more and more interesting information that I thought was really... that I really wanted to share, because I thought it was pertinent to... to the album, so...
Not only your research there, but just the conversations about... for us and our experience, so it's going to be a big one. Like, it's surprising how big it is, and I bet this is going to come up once in a while, where one is going to consume all. Sorry, let me get this in order.
He's Douglas, I'm Vicky.
Oh yeah, all that. It's a D&V joint.
If you want to know what the scoop is, check the verbiage underneath.
First album. Oh, Zeppelin 4. I guess unofficially Zeppelin 4
Zeppelin
or untitled.
4, yeah, unofficially.
I've always known it as So-So.
Yeah, so... Oh, yeah.
Muddy Waters Live. This is like quintessential Muddy Waters. And some Canadian content as always. Prism. Okay, Angel Pie, start us off.
Okay.
Put this somewhere.
So, Led Zeppelin was an English rock band formed in London in 1968. It consisted of a guitarist, Jimmy Page, singer Robert Plant, bassist and keyboardist John Paul Jones, and drummer John Bonham. They were one of the first heavy metal bands and drew their influences from blues, psychedelia, and folk music. Page wrote most of the music, particularly early on, and Plant generally wrote the lyrics. They disbanded following the death of John Bonham in 1980 and periodically participated in one-off reunions. Led Zeppelin is widely considered, one of the most successful, innovative, and influential rock groups in history. They're one of the best-selling music artists in history of audio recordings, selling an estimated 200 to 300 million units worldwide. Each of their 9 albums reached the top 10 on the Billboard charts, and 6 of them hit the #1 spot. The album, which is listed as an untitled album, is known as Led Zeppelin 4 or Zozo. The album cover did not list the band name and was their 4th album and released in 1971. So the first song on the album is called Black Dog. It's one of the most instantly recognized Led Zeppelin song, and it's in reference to an old black Labrador retriever that wandered around the studio during the recording. And basically this thing, he just wandered around and slept and had sex and, did all of this stuff. So that's basically what Black Dog was about.
And what a way to start an album off, too. It's like he just grabs you by the balls. Okay, continue. Black Dog.
What are your impressions of Black Dog?
This is the first Zeppelin album that I ever bought. Was this one. And I just thought, for me, it just had so many of the songs that I wanted on it. Stairway, Black Dog, the whole thing. I mean, to pick a song off of here is ridiculous. And just, it's the first one I had, and I had the headphones, and like I said, when Black Dog starts, just opens up, it's just like, fuck yeah. So, do I have anything specific to add about the song? No, it's an awesome, easily identifiable song used everywhere. It's still a great heavy rock metal song.
And I have to say that sadly, this is not an album that I ever owned.
Oh, wow.
When I listen to it, I think about all the junk that I did own, and it makes me sad.
Yeah, there's a lot of wasted time.
That I wasted so much time on the content of albums that I did. And thankfully, you've opened up my eyes to a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. Oh.
Through our relationship, things that I never listened to when it was age appropriate for me to listen to. So.
Hey, better late than never. But yeah, this was
agree.
This was a staple for me, right? Fairly early on. So.
Yeah, and I understand why after listening to it. All right, the second song is called Rock and Roll, and it developed from a spontaneous jam session while they were trying to finish the track Four Sticks. So a little bit of trivia behind that one, I guess. Mm-hmm. The next one is the Battle at Evermore.
Battle of Evermore, yeah.
And it was written when Jimmy Page picked up a mandolin and he made the song up on the spot. It makes references to the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, and that's what I was just going to go, because everything is so interconnected in this, and this is part of the why. These epic songs that you have, Battle of Evermore, Stairway, and the theme of like you said, the whole Lord of the Rings running through it, just that fantasy, medieval kind of stuff. It was such a fantastic album for that. And Battle of Evermore is part of it.
And we'll get to the album art later.
Yeah, and totally.
But it even goes back into...
That's what I mean. It's
the
all...
album art and the design of the inside sleeve and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely a theme album.
Definitely, and I love these theme albums.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of a concept album to some degree then.
Yeah, and that's when that rabbit hole comes in. It's like you just keep going deeper and deeper into the research.
Well, where do you draw the line?
Exactly, and that's kind of where we had the hard time doing it.
Yeah. Okay, so Battle of Evermore. Right.
And then Stairway to Heaven, which you have to be...
I know we say this a lot. But how the fuck can you be a person in this world, almost of any age group, and not know Stairway to Heaven?
That song, yeah. Yeah, and I totally agree with you there.
It would be like not knowing some classical music.
You have to be living up the rock, being raised by monkeys.
And even then, by accident, you think you would hear that song.
Yeah, you'd think so, yeah.
And this is, for me, this is one of those ones that I, headphones on, plugged in a stereo and cranked up. But this is also one that got played at school dances a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was
for you.
It
was a nice...
It was a slow dancer, but it didn't say, because it's a prog song, it starts off slow, but it just...
Yeah, and then it gets
hard
fast
to,
and it slows down again.
So you have a few minutes of good dancing, and then... No.
And then you have to decide whether you're going to stay together and go faster, or break apart and go faster. So Stairway to Heaven's been referred to as one of the greatest rock songs of all time.
Oh, yeah.
It was written over a very long period of time, and was came to being from a bunch of different experiences that they had. Misty Mountain Hop. The lyric refers to the events of July 7th, 1968, at a legalized pot rally. The lyrics reflect Plant's quest for a better society. And here I am not being able to read my own writing.
That's a common theme.
Yeah, and I'm so excited about this album that I'm there's so much thought going around in my head that I'm having a hard time spitting it out. The next song is called Four Sticks, and this song required more takes than usual because of the timing. John Bonham actually used 4 drumsticks, 2 in each hand, when they recorded this song.
Yeah, and you can, now that you know that, when you hear it, when you listen to the song, you can really hear him hitting the double.
Well, and the other thing that I read about this song too was that they were recording this album in a big mansion, and they actually set the drums up down in the foyer, and recorded it from there, which gave it this kind of far away kind of.
It's the reverb. Yeah. It's also the only song that's not on the greatest hits.
That's interesting.
It's the only song from this album that did not make the greatest hits package. They couldn't play it live because the timing was too fucked up.
Yeah.
And people could consider it the worst song on the album, but I fucking have always loved the song because of the weird timing. Because it's just it's a weird.
Well, and that's what Led Zeppelin was about, right? Innovative stuff, trying new things. That's why they're still selling albums today. That's why the band still, people still wish the band was back together for one last.
It'll never be as good.
Kick of the can.
What are they?
Well, no, without John Bonham.
But they were around for 10, 12 years, and look at what they've done.
His son, John Bonham's son, actually has stepped in and done some gigs with them.
I don't want to see him.
And the last song on the album is Going to California, and this song is reportedly about Joni Mitchell. Apparently, Robert Plant was infatuated with her, and he stated that he was struggling to find himself amidst the craziness of the California lifestyle, the band, and all of the groupies. So which I can totally understand. It must have been total bedlam for their lives. They would be tracked down and followed and hounded by fans and women and drugs and, just the whole rock style lifestyle.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, and sorry, there is one more song on this album. It's called When the Levee Breaks.
Yeah, I know. When you said that Going to California last song, I'm like, nope.
Yeah, it's kind of lost in all my writing here. It was first recorded in 1927 by Kansas Joe McCoy and Memphis Minnie. It's about the Great Mississippi Floods, and the Led Zeppelin version was re-recorded in 1970.
Yeah, well, it's just like I said, all the songs on this album are amazing, but those anchor songs were for me, like, you have Black Dog, Battle of Evermore, Stairway, and When the Levee Breaks. Like, I love those epic long songs.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's why this has been, for me, it has always been a really important album. Because it, and also too, before we get into anything else, I'd like to give a shout out to all the black artists where a lot of this music came from and they didn't get credit. And I still don't think most of them do for the time being. They kind of culturally appropriated. Wait, that's not the right word, is it? They just stole it. So
and kind of made it their own.
They profited off music that
Yeah. Doug said this album was produced by Jimmy Page, and it's probably an album for the end of days. Like it's
one of those desert island albums for sure. And to me, like, this is, we can talk about this and how much we liked it and all that. We'd almost need to do another show of just listening to it and going through it, so we could talk about some of the different, recording effects or different, different things going on in the song, and even lyrics to some degree. So, okay, continue. You got a book here.
Yeah. So we did a little bit of digging on the album cover.
Okay, yeah. So the album cover.
The internet is amazing for all kinds of crazy information. So the artwork, the 19th century rustic oil painting on the cover was purchased from an antique shop by Robert Plant. The painting was then mounted on an inside papered wall of the partly demolished house, and a photograph was taken, and that's where the album art came from. The inside sleeve, which, did you just show that?
No, I will again though.
So the inside sleeve, the typeface for the lyrics of Stairway to Heaven.
Oh, the sleeve.
The inside sleeve, sorry.
There.
The album sleeve, so the font.
Yeah, let's talk about the font here.
It was discovered by Jimmy Page as he was looking at a magazine dated from the 19th century. Mm-hmm. And he loved it so much and thought it would be appropriate for the album so much that he actually had an artist create the whole alphabet for them so they could use it on the inside of this album cover, or album sleeve. And it's different from the other side. Mm. So then the inside album cover, they have a photo or an artist's rendering. It's called The Hermit. And this is credited to an artist called Barrington Colby. It was influenced by the card called The Hermit in the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. Mm-hmm. And it's absolutely stunning. Like, you could just...
Yeah, I never realized that looking at it with a bigger copy here, there's actually quite a bit of detail.
Yeah.
In his face and town and stuff like that. Yeah,
I would love to have this as a poster.
And especially in this room, it'd be perfect.
Yeah, it'd be perfect for this room.
Yep. I think it perfectly represents the album.
Yeah,
like this long and winding room.
Yeah. So yeah, there's just so many cool things about this album that.
And actually, we're talking about the artwork and stuff, and I will say, this is actually. I know we're going to get into some of the other stuff. I'm going to give a shout out. This is my mom's.
Yeah.
Album. It's hers. She from before she knew my dad. Like, it's got her name on it there. And you've probably seen every party.
Oh yeah, it's not in very good condition. No. Well, the cover anyway.
Well, so I just wanted to mention that. So what was our next? I want to shout out to Mom for her album here.
So condition of the vinyl and the cover.
Oh, we're there anyway. Okay, so it's my mom's, and so we continued on with the party thing. So it's been to every party, and it's not like the corners are beat up. It's tape, actual tape there, which is even disintegrated because it's so old. The spine's just...
Yeah, it's just totally falling apart.
And surprisingly, though, like, the artwork still looks pretty sweet on the inside, considering.
Yeah.
And the other thing, too, is this is so old that it's got scratches and pops and hiss. It's been so worn down, it's like listening to ghosts. Like, it's so old that there's the sound fidelity is just not there at all.
Yeah, so this is an album that we've actually talked about going out and reinvesting in, and buying.
Get a heavier grain vinyl.
Yeah.
Because I saw 180 gram there, and
how much was it? Do you remember?
I think it was about between $25 and $30
Yeah,
for
which is
a new
what
one of
these
these.
albums are going for.
Let's talk about this. Is that this album came out in '71, but this album here, my mom's originally, is a reissue from '79.
Oh.
Which is the only issue. There was no other. I've been able to find any other copy for Canada. This reissue seems to be the first copy for Canada.
Wow.
That doesn't make sense though.
No, it doesn't, because that's 8 years difference.
8 years difference. So that can't be right. But I wasn't able to find any of the original ones. Maybe they're just not on the. But anyway, '79.
So what did kids back then that wanted this album when it first came out? Obviously they.
Well, you went and bought it, or you hung out with somebody.
From the States?
No, see, I don't think that there has to be other copies of it out there. It doesn't make sense. But this is the only one I was able to find, and it's a reissue. I did have a little factoid for one of the songs. After all that, was that for When the Levee Breaks, that Robert Plant's vocals are the only one being played at normal speed. Everybody else in the band has been slowed down.
Oh,
all the instruments and stuff. Yeah, so
that's really cool.
Yeah, there's like
I didn't notice that. We'll have to after we wrap it up here. We'll have to listen to it again.
Yeah, I'll go put it on Spotify so you can hear it in proper detail.
Okay, that sounds great. Yeah. The cost: poor condition, $7.66. In mid condition, $13.80. In pristine condition, $18.
Well, if that's the case, I don't just go and buy it new.
We'll see if we can get it used somewhere. No.
No, I can buy it new.
Go buy it
just
new.
try and find it cheaper.
Yeah,
I
think it's worthwhile. Yeah. So rating.
This is. I don't think we actually have a rating high enough for this. This is like.
This is a 10 out of 5.
It's just a must own. It's like it's music history. If you like rock music at all, this should be in your collection, and you should listen to it.
Yeah, and I agree. Listen to it often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would give it one that's we need something like a level that's.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. We've talked about this before.
National Library, like you need one of the ones that's up above everything else. And for me, this would be it. Like most of you can say that with quite a few Zeppelin albums, but.
Well, this kind of puts us on the right track. You know, it could be a must own.
Must own. It's a must own and must own.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
So there you have it. That's Zeppelin 4.
That wasn't so bad.
No.
So down.
So the next album is Muddy Waters Live. Muddy Waters, whose real name is McKinley Morganfield, was an American blues musician who's been called the father of modern Chicago blues. He was playing the guitar and harmonica by the age of 17 and recorded his first album in 1946. He was a tremendous influence on not just blues and rhythm and blues, but also on rock and roll and rock, folk music, jazz, and country music. Muddy Waters Live, or Muddy Mississippi Waters Live, was recorded between March of 1977 and August of 1978. He did 13 studio albums, and this was his second last album, released in 1979. He died at the age of 70 in 1983. So, within a few years of this being recorded. And it's funny because we were watching something last night, and it had Buddy Guy.
Yeah, it was that Letterman show.
Yeah, it talked about Buddy Guy and how he influenced the Chicago blues. Mm-hmm. So I imagine he has been influenced by Muddy Waters. Oh,
well, he talked about how, I am kind of off subject, they said Chicago, but really it was Southern blues, that they just brought Chicago and renamed it, because they had recorded it in Chicago, so they're like, oh, it's Chicago blues.
Yeah.
Which was just Southern blues.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah,
and since we did this, or listened to this album, I've seen a couple of articles here and there about Muddy Waters' life, and so he's still he's still relevant and he's still being talked about today.
Oh, for sure.
Despite the fact that he died in 1983.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so song list?
Yeah, song list. Mannish Boy. She's 19 years old. Mine Below Zero. Streamline Woman. Howling Wolf. Baby Please Don't Go. And Deep Down in Florida.
That's funny. I had for she's 19. It's like, oh, I had a comment next to it saying at least she's 19 this time.
Yeah.
There's some questionable age things.
Yeah, a lot
in
of the
music.
songs kind of borderline on inappropriate conversations about young women.
This stuff, or just
Some of this stuff and blues in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But
I guess it's from the era.
But yeah, I mean, I think Mannish Boy. I mean, once again, we talk about songs everybody knows. You're like, oh, I never. Yeah, you probably have heard it. It's been used in everything. Do I have it written? Goodfellas, Long Kiss Goodnight. There's a bunch of other stuff like this has been used. Tarantino used it in something else too. Baby Please Don't Go. Obviously, another for me. Yeah, I've always loved Muddy Waters. So.
Yeah, same here. And again, it goes back to my roots of my dad being a jazz musician, and when we were kids listening to this types of music and these types of bands, and where most kids in my neighborhood wouldn't have.
Yeah, well, it's funny
even known
too
about
because
this stuff.
well, it's somewhat similar. I think my obviously dad played it because this is his album. It's original, by the way, and it's his album. This is one of the ones I grew up with out of the collection, and yeah, it's the same as you. Like it was played in the background. I heard it, and I've always enjoyed it, even as a kid. I enjoyed some of the blues, which is kind of weird, you'd think, but that's fantastic. I mean, like a time travel. This is one of those ones I'd have to go see live in like one of the southern, bars, super smoky, and fucking just get lit and enjoy that show.
Yeah, yeah.
So next, what we got next?
Just as a side note to this.
Oh yes, absolutely.
The album was reissued in 2003 as a 2 CD set, and they added 11 songs to the second disc.
That's crazy. Okay, art. Album cover. Let's do. Considering it's from 1979, I know that's probably going to be in like medium to poor condition. I mean, a little bit edges, but it's got the condom wear, but it's still pretty solid. Like the glue's not breaking down at all. The album is in the inside sleeves in pretty good condition. The artwork. You guys know.
And lyrics. There's lyrics on there.
No, there's no lyrics.
Oh,
it's just
sorry.
Credits.
Credits. Holy mackerel! Everyone knew.
Well, yeah, we'll get into it. We didn't talk because Johnny Winter produced it, I think,
Yes,
and played.
yeah.
So, anyways, I just want to go through. You guys know what I think about these kinds of photos. Like, I mean, they're just live photos and black and white, and.
This is as though it's a little bit more.
This one's a little more iconic.
Has a little bit more artistic integrity.
Yeah, because I'd probably have that on my get a shirt with that on it or something.
Yeah, because it's.
But generally, I don't really care about that stuff. So it's in good condition, and the vinyl's in fantastic condition. It sounded great. Considering how old it is, it played real nice, original run. How?
So going back to the producer.
Yeah, producer. Yeah.
Was Johnny Winter.
Mm-hmm.
And he also played guitar in this album.
A couple of songs, yeah.
As well as he produced 3 Grammy-winning albums for Muddy Waters over his career. And this album won a Grammy in 1979 for Best Ethnic or Traditional Folk Recording.
If you're building a collection, I don't know if this album's specific, but you better have some goddamn Muddy Waters in your collection.
Oh, definitely, yes,
if you're gonna
yes.
like music at all. So, and it's funny. I will say there's definitely a deep connection between my love of blues and heavy rock and metal. They go together extremely well, and they're kind of can be really derivative of each other.
Well, and one of the things that I said in the opening there was that he was a tremendous influence on not just blues and rhythm and blues, but also on rock and roll, hard rock, folk music, jazz, and country.
Yeah.
So, he's a trailblazer.
For sure.
I would say.
Yeah, because I listen to stuff like your stoner metals out there right now. Like Sleep's a good example of how it's so heavily blues, jazz influenced. It's crazy. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next?
Cost.
Cost, pricing.
In bad condition or in the poorest condition, $5.10. In mid condition, $14.02. And in mint condition, $19.14. Now that goes to show you it's not by much, but this album is worth more in mint condition than Led Zeppelin 4. So that kind of
way more
says
copies of that
something
floating around
too.
out there than this one.
So that
Yeah,
kind of
that's a
says
good point.
something
Yeah.
too.
To me, it's it's in the must own.
Yeah, and I agree with you there too. It's one that should be owned and listened to often.
Yep. And like I said, it doesn't even have to be this specific album, but
Muddy
Muddy
Waters.
Waters. All right, next album.
Okay, third and final album. So Prism is a Canadian band formed in Vancouver in 1977. They were active originally from 77 to 84, then again from 1987 to present. The band's sound is a mix of album-oriented rock and pop rock, and they've released a total of 9 studio albums, 3 compilations, and 3 live albums. Their success has been primarily in Canada, but also reached the US in 1981 with the top 40 song, Don't Let Him Know. Prism is their first studio album recorded in 1977. Now,
I didn't, not the top hit there you just said.
No, I have no idea. I mean, maybe once we heard it, we'd go, oh, yeah.
Yeah, Canadian content rules, right? We should know, but it does not sound familiar.
No, not at all.
The single off this sound, it was familiar.
Yeah, and that's the one that I'm surprised
Isn't the hit?
hasn't gone to the hit.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
the songs on this album are side A, Spaceship Superstar.
Boom. Once
Which
again.
is the one that...
If you're Canadian and you listen to or gone to a bar in the last 30 or 40 years, you probably heard this song more than a few times. It's their big hit on this one.
And apparently Spaceship Superstar got a little bit of a boost, too, because it was the wake-up song on the,
somewhat
the space
recently.
shuttle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of pushed them out there again. Open Soul Surgery, It's Over. Take Me to the Captain, and it's spelled Kaptin.
Side 2 is Vladivostok. Free Will. Amelia, Julie. Am I doing that right?
Yeah, and Ain't Looking Anymore.
Oh, there, yeah, okay. My tongue was on that one.
And we thought it was kind of funny because on this side too, they have 2 girl songs together.
Yeah.
Which they could have broken them up, or anyways, why they did it that way, I don't know.
I will say, besides Spaceship Superstar, so this album is really super front-loaded. Like, I don't know any of the other songs on here, but I will say Open Soul Surgery, I did have a note down saying that, to me, it sounded like an early GNR song.
Oh,
It
interesting.
sounded like an early Guns N' Roses, like off of Lies or Appetite for Destruction. Like, it was early on stuff when they were still like a bar band in LA. That's what that one song kind of reminds me of. He's up there in his vocals, and it's kind of, a little ass kicking. But then the album just fucking peters out.
Yeah. Side B is pretty much.
So produced by.
Well, hang on a second.
Oh, okay.
For me, what I wrote down was it's
okay.
a typical Canadian sound.
Totally.
And
Totally agree with you.
the only familiar song on here for me was Spaceship Superstar.
Yeah.
For Take Me to the Captain, I wrote Cookie Cutter Producing.
Mm-hmm.
And beside Amelia, I wrote lyrics are weak on some songs. What rhymes with Amelia?
Mm-hmm.
LOL. So it must have been. And then I made a comment about the 2 girl songs in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to mention too that the majority of the songs were written by Jim Vallance, who was Bryan Adams' co-writer for so many years. So I'm kind of surprised that it was obviously the first of his career, and I'm kind of surprised that some of the songs aren't better than they are.
Yeah, some weak sauce for sure.
Yeah.
And you're right about
The typical Canadian sound.
yeah, totally.
And that could be why.
Yeah.
The producer is Bruce Fairbairn. And he also produced albums by Bon Jovi, Aerosmith, AC/DC, Blue Oyster Cult, Loverboy, Chicago, The Cranberries, In Excess, Kiss, and Poison. So he was very, very successful. But he also did a lot of Canadian bands, which I think makes them all sound the same.
Yeah, they definitely have the similar
that
sound
cookie
and
cutter,
mix. And...
the cookie cutter comment really ties it up. Jim Vallance also co-produced 2 of the songs under the pseudonym of Rodney Higgs. Apparently he does that.
Yes, he on here, Rodney Hicks right there, yeah.
Quite often. So the album art.
So the album art, we're looking this up because this is probably the best thing about Prism. I really fucking like this album cover, and obviously lots going on there. In Prism, you can do a few things, but you know, I like it. And even the back. So we're doing some research on it, and we found it was a local guy, or Vancouver artist.
His name was James O'Mara. James O'Mara.
James O'Mara, yeah.
And he's got quite a webpage right now. He's done a lot of photography for a lot of Canadian bands, and he's actually quite a good photographer and has a lot of really great work out there. So it was really kind of cool to make that connection and to kind of go through all of his artwork and see some of the stuff that he's
I like when they hire real artists to do their stuff, because like I said, it's definitely better than the music.
Yeah, because it's definitely a cool album cover.
Yeah, I'm surprised that'd be one good one for the T-shirt or the wall. I mean,
definitely.
Don't really put out a lot of good music I like, but there it is.
No.